Hey guys, it's September 30th. I'll do a market update video really quick here. Today we basically hit our upper target on the ES. Okay, so this is the ES 60-minute chart. So we had this 1152, 1153 area. We've had this level actually for 3 or 4 days, maybe even a little bit longer. And today we basically gapped up. We ran right into target and we came down. So coming into this high, the market was basically contracting. We popped out of the contraction and came right back into contraction. So at this point, going into tomorrow, tomorrow could be a choppy day with a little bit of pressure to the downside, but it's one of those things where until this trend, this uptrend actually really breaks, there's not really the best shorting opportunity. Okay, trying to short in this, even though we might come down, it's still a hard trade because it's coming off of a high in a trend that's up. Okay, but this high has odds of actually being a high, meaning this high has more odds than any prior high. Okay, in this move. Okay, because we hit a target. Okay, all these we did not hit targets. There was minor targets, but that's knowing major targets, minor targets. There's always going to be minor waves within the larger waves, no matter what. Okay, so just because we hit a minor wave target doesn't mean that it's a short, even though market might pull back. Okay, as far as scalping, maybe there's a little bit of opportunity, but it's counter trend scalping, so different rules apply. Okay, so let's look at a couple charts from today. So this is the Russell 3-minute. And we always use NQ, ES, and Russell, all three together for targets because one's always going to be leading the other. Okay, and so we were using the ES target because it's right in the middle. NQ's much higher, Russell's much lower. Okay, they weren't near the targets. ES was. So on this gap, we came down, we contracted, we broke out of the wedge with the yellow bars, we made a blue bar low. Okay, so for those in the webinar yesterday, this is kind of an example of a false blue bar breakout. In this example, it's a breakdown. Okay, in this example, it was a double bottom, but we're not interested in shorting here down to here. Okay, even though it could fall apart, we're not interested in it unless we make a corrective pattern relative to this move. Okay, and this is nowhere near what we're looking for. Okay, basically after this move all day, it basically corrected. Okay, this correction is relative to. Okay, so this red bar would be a sell signal. Okay, in the zone. Okay, we basically closed on yellow bars. So the 3-minute closed in a sell zone or a sell pattern. Okay, let's look at the ES because they're all going to look a little bit different. All similar but different. Yellow bar, wedge, we break. Okay, this is an example of a false blue bar break. Okay, it comes up, we're not interested in this short. Even though it breaks, we're not interested because we're looking for corrective off of this low. Okay, but it's not going to pick the exact bar every time, but it gives us an area of odds. And that's really what we need in trading. We don't really want to try to predict, this low bar or this low bar day in and day out. It just won't work. Okay, so we want something that gives us odds. Okay, that's not so reliant on one specific thing. It's more many things in the same category. Okay, if that makes sense. Okay, so relative correction here would be a short signal stop above structure here. Okay, so minimum, just to complete this pattern, we would be way lower. Okay, not way lower, but down in the 1124s maybe, 1120s. Even if market completes down there, it's still not, really falling apart on bigger chart, the 60-minute. So even if market pulls down here, we still could continue higher. Okay, it's just this high does have odds. Okay, meaning we have a higher probability of breaking, pulling up, and then failing, unlike these highs. Okay, so the market is pretty strong, but we are getting to a point where we could pull back. And even if we pull back here, there's still a possibility of support. So we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves with the absolute answer. That's why we do daily updates every night with targets and levels, okay, and the condition of the market. So if you guys have any questions, email us trade at eMiniSchool.com, and email us whatever chart you want to see, and we'll do a webinar next week. So anyone interested, you can email us and we'll make sure you're on the list. See you guys tomorrow.